In India, there's a really powerful legal framework that exists to protect women from harassment at work. So today, we're going to break down the landmark SH Act and the modern digital tool that's bringing it to life, the SH Box portal. First up, we'll start with the most basic idea: why a safe workplace is a fundamental right. Then we'll get into the SAFE Act itself, see how it actually works, explore the super innovative SheBox portal, and finally, we'll look at what gives this law its real teeth: accountability. So, to really get why this law is such a big deal, we have to start with the big picture. You see, this isn't just about some company policy or HR rules. We're talking about a fundamental human right. What's so interesting here is how this whole issue is framed in the legal sense. Workplace harassment isn't just viewed as inappropriate behavior. It's seen as a direct violation of the fundamental rights that are guaranteed under the Indian Constitution. We're talking about the rights to equality, to life, and to dignity. This makes it a huge barrier, one that stops women from fully participating in the economy and really holds back the country's growth. And that fundamental principle is exactly what led to the government's major response, the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act, which officially became law back in 2013. You know, this act didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's really the result of a long evolution. The groundwork was first laid way back in 1997 with the Supreme Court's Vishaka Guidelines. Then, in 2013, that was all formalized into the comprehensive SHE Act. And just recently, the whole system got a modern upgrade with the launch of the SheBox portal, bringing the entire process right into the digital age. So, who exactly does this law protect? Well, the answer is incredibly broad and, frankly, very inclusive. The Act covers all women. It doesn't matter what their age is or what their employment status is. This thing applies across public and private companies, and this is crucial in both the organized and unorganized sectors. It even extends protection to domestic workers, a group that is so often vulnerable and historically left out of labor laws. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this law actually function day to day to make sure women are protected and have a real path to get help? The Act sets up this really smart two-part system for handling complaints. So for any organization that has 10 or more employees, an internal committee, or an IC, is absolutely mandatory. For smaller workplaces, or let's say if a complaint is against the employer themselves, the case goes to a local committee, or LC, which is set up at the district level. This design makes sure there's always a formal body you can go to, no matter the situation. And what's so great about this is that the law isn't just about reacting after something bad happens, it's about prevention. Employers have 4 key duties they have to fulfill. 1, they have to create a clear policy against sexual harassment. 2, they have to display the details of this policy and who's on the committee somewhere prominent. 3, they have to run regular awareness workshops for all their employees. And 4, they have to provide proper orientation for the members of that internal committee. The complaint process itself is designed to be really swift and definitive. A woman has to file a complaint within 3 months of the incident. From that moment, the clock starts, and the committee has a strict 90-day deadline to wrap up its inquiry. If the complaint is proven, action gets taken based on the company's service rules. It creates a very clear, time-bound path to justice. Okay, so now let's talk about the modern twist on this whole framework. This is where technology steps in to make the entire process a whole lot more accessible and transparent for everyone. This is the SheBox, which stands for Sexual Harassment Electronic Box. It's basically a single, centralized online platform where any woman can go to file a complaint. And once it's submitted, the portal automatically sends the complaint to the right internal or local committee. It completely streamlines that first, most critical step of the whole process. The portal is really designed with the user in mind. It gives you real-time tracking so you can monitor the progress of your complaint anytime you want. It's got multilingual support, which is huge for making it accessible to women all over the country. Confidentiality is a top priority, so it's a secure experience. And on top of all that, it's a resource hub with training materials and info about your rights. Of course, a law is only as strong as its enforcement, right? So what happens when an employer just fails to comply with their duties under the SACT Act? Well, the answer starts with this number. For a first-time violation, like, say, not even setting up an internal committee, an employer is looking at a fine of up to 50,000 rupees. And the penalties, they escalate, and they do it significantly. A first offense, yeah, that brings a hefty fine. But a repeat violation? that means the employer is going to face double that amount. And even more seriously, they could actually risk having their business license canceled or not renewed. This makes sure that compliance is taken very, very seriously. So the framework is solid: a comprehensive law, clear processes, and an accessible digital platform to back it all up. With these powerful tools already in place, the final question really shifts from law to culture. It becomes about us. How can each of us, whether we're employees, managers, or leaders, help build workplaces where safety and respect aren't just the law, but they're the lived everyday reality?